Hello and welcome to the first in a series of videos about night photography and how we can make the most of the autumn and winter evenings with our cameras on the streets. As the nights begin to draw in, our thoughts should be turning more towards what we can do with our street photography after the sun's gone down. It's actually one of my favourite times of year because we don't have to worry too much about what the weather's doing or relying on the sun to be shining to deliver us some good light. From now on, the street lights will be coming on much earlier than usual, and we can all look forward to plenty of creative hours after dark. But what are we looking for when we venture out into the urban environment with our cameras at night? What kinds of pictures do we want to be taking, and how can we find what we're looking for? Well, today I want to examine a few of the different options that we have when it comes to capturing life on the streets at night. First, a quick word about gear. Travel light is my recommendation and use a simple setup. A small camera with a fast prime lens is my go-to option, perhaps with a small zoom as an easy to carry alternative. I tend to shoot with aperture priorities selected, just as I do during the day. And I generally meter for the brightest part of the scene and pre-focus on a specific area once I've settled on my composition and framing. That way, all I'm left with is the task of waiting for the moment to arrive to hit the shutter. Preparation is the key. Photographing at night means that our pictures will be very different from those we capture during the day for many reasons. But the two main ones are the quality of the available light and the amount of detail we can capture as a result. Including people in your shots is made that much harder. Therefore, a great place to start is with silhouettes, as they are one of the easiest ways to photograph people at night. Shooting them against a well-lit background is the way to go, and capturing them in an animated pose will help to add interest to the picture. I held a small group workshop in London recently, and our photo walk travelled through the city to specific locations before ending up at the Barbican Centre, to explore the walkways and atmospherically lit spaces you can find there at night. It was great fun and the perfect place to try out your night photography skills and learn more. If you're interested in attending one of these workshops, please visit my website where you can register your interest. Dates for the forthcoming weeks will be announced shortly. These shots come from Carsten Velten, who joined us whilst on a visit from Germany. Some really nice examples of silhouettes. I like the abstract feel that you get from shooting silhouettes at night. Metering for the brightest part of the background or the area behind your subject will result in an underexposure of the shadow areas in the rest of the scene. This will tend to force these parts to appear darker in the image, ensuring that your main subject will be solid enough to form an effective silhouette. Simple and effective. These pictures are from Vikas Valia, who joined us whilst visiting from Prague, another great street photography city. Pre-composing your scene and waiting for your subject to move into the frame will further increase the likelihood of you capturing the precise moment. Once you have decided on your backdrop and where you would most like any human presence to appear in the image, you will be ready to perform the metering and focus tasks, which will then allow you to concentrate on the main subject as they move into the frame. Setting your camera shutter to continuous mode will reduce the chances of you missing the shot and also increase the odds of you capturing a moving subject in an interesting or more dynamic pose. Night photography is all about the ambience and finding the right mood in which to capture your images. Some of the best places to look are off the beaten track, away from the hustle and bustle of the main streets and pedestrian areas. Passages, alleyways and back streets should be on everyone's list of regular hunting grounds for pictures that have a certain element of mystery to them. It's in these more obscure locations that you are likely to find lighting situations that I think can be used more creatively, as the ratio between the dark and light areas is more subtle and the light more characterful than found in better lit places. Negative space, the use of large areas of empty space in an image, can also have a dramatic effect when composing for this kind of scene. When framing, consider how you might be able to exploit this kind of space, which can be very effective in drawing attention to your main subject. Now, for many photographers, taking pictures of people in the street may prove quite difficult, and they may shy away from it as the fear of potential confrontation may prove too much for them. It does take a certain amount of courage and application to take someone's picture without their consent. Approaching the problem at night is one way of building confidence whilst learning how to work around the issue. As with shooting during the daytime, it still pays to be as discreet as you can when moving around with your camera. Keeping it as concealed as you can when not actually using it is always a good idea. This way you are not immediately attracting attention to yourself. If you have identified a potential target and you are going for the more candid approach, the first thing to think about is how you can get into position without drawing attention to yourself. Look for objects you can stand behind or things that will help to obscure your presence for just long enough for you to frame and shoot. Often, your subject will be distracted enough not to notice you, and if you are quick enough, you may be able to simply point and shoot to grab the frame. The available light from these places will determine the mood that you're likely to get from a scene, and also suggest the kind of shot that might be most successful. As well as using a main light source for illumination, think about how you might be able to use the ambient or reflective light to highlight someone as they walk near or underneath it. This can result in some quite dramatic looking moments. By watching how the light affects people's appearance at night and thinking about how it can be used creatively to capture them will lead to street pictures that really stand out. So there we go, some of the things that can help to make a good street picture at night, and also some of the things to look out for when you're on your photo walk. There will be plenty of opportunity to practice now the nights are drawing in, so hatch a plan and get out there. Just a reminder to check out my website for details of my guided photo walks and lots of other street photography tips and advice too. Let me know how you get on with your night photography, and thanks for watching.